Hello Steelers, and welcome back to the fourth and final part, or well, might be, we may never know unless the Japanese lose in this one, of the pint-sized campaign set in Singapore, which was in the Wargaming Soldiers and Strategy magazine number 126. This was written by Mark Backhouse of Strength and Honour fame, and as I say, we're on to scenario 3. The British in the last one pushed the Japanese back off the water tower hill. However, in real life the Japanese actually forced the British back, and they are now onto their last and their final push to get through. So we have here, I'll read it out to you. It says, in Game 4, the Japanese pressure from Major Shimada's tanks to the north had forced the British to withdraw from Water Tower Hill, and they fall back to Hill 95 for fear that they would be completely enveloped and cut off from the main lines. The Japanese are hoping to smash through the British lines before they have time to recover. The Japanese can choose from bomb platoon, etc, etc, etc. So this is where we're at the moment. So this is hill, what do we say? It's called hill number 95. So we've got this over here on the side where the British are going to be coming in. The Japanese are going to be coming from this side over here. Obviously, this is chain of command. And hopefully the Japanese are going to be able to push their way through and win on this scenario. If they do, if they capture a British jumping off point, then they will win the campaign outright. Otherwise they will just have to force the British off by destroying their force morale. I'll show you the forces that are involved, because the Japanese have got a little bit extra support in this one, and then we'll just get on with the game, I think. Okay, here we have the two forces. So once again we've got our basic platoons. They're both dragging up their very last ones. Now these are the last fresh platoons that both sides have got. If this campaign continues, then we're going to have to look at how many casualties previous games have caused on the British and Japanese. But let's have a look. We've got the Japanese, they've got 3 squads, each made up of 9 riflemen and a 3-man LMG crew led by a corporal. These are led by the Rikugun Shoi and also their Gunzo. Then they also have down here a grenade discharger squad, which is made up of 3 grenade dischargers. They have, in this one, they've actually got 2 support tanks, and these are the Ha-Go Type 95. These are light tanks. They also have an opening preliminary barrage as well for this. So they've got some support in the form of tanks, which is going to be pretty useful. The British, on the other hand, they are made up of 3 sections, each made up of a corporal leading an LMG team of 3 men and then a 6-man rifle team, and they are led by their lieutenant and a sergeant. They have in their platoon, they've also got a boys anti-tank rifle and a 2-inch mortar, and their supports, they've just gone for a sniper team. So not great, but let's just see. We'll see what happens when they hit the ground, and I'll show you the table. Okay, so this is the table looking from the Japanese attacking area across here all the way up to Hill 95. You can see rising in the back there behind the small village. So there's a bridge. There is also barbed wire that the British have strung across the river and there as well, so that's going to be quite difficult for the Japanese. Meanwhile though, their jumping off points, I've already done the patrol phase. So we've got 1 jumping off point here on this side, we've got another one here in the village itself, and then the third one is, let me find it, there in the village as well. So they're quite close together. Meanwhile the Japanese, because they forced the British over that way in the deployment, they have one here, they have another one on the side of the drainage ditch, and then finally another one there on the side of that drainage ditch as well. So they're not particularly far forward, but they are they can at least get across that drainage ditch, which would cost them a shock otherwise. So I've done the force morale rolls as well. The British ended up with 8. This time the Japanese have got 9. So the Japanese are starting this game. So let's get it going, shall we? Right, so we're starting with the Japanese and what they get on their first phase. Let's have a look. We've got 2 6s that retain the phase. It's not good. They've got a 3, a 1 and a 4. So they've got a team, a section or a junior leader, and also a senior leader. That's pretty good actually, and a second phase as well. Okay, immediately the Japanese have brought a gun to a knife fight in the shape of their Ha-Go. I know they're light tanks, but you know, when you don't have much against them, they are pretty dangerous. So we brought this on. That's all they're doing. They can't really use the others, so, but they do retain the phase. Okay, the Japanese are up again with the second phase, so let's see what happens with this. They kept it again, and they've got 3 6s this time, so another 3 and a 2. So that is a junior leader and a section. So I think they'll bring on their second tank, you know, and a section as well. So they deployed the second Hago, and also a section forward as well, which is quite close to one of the British jumping off points in the village. They're trying to get into those to get them shut down and finish off this game ASAP, and this campaign in fact. Right, it is their third turn, then third phase, should I say. This time they don't retain it, but they do have 2 3s, another 2 and another 2. So 2 2s and 2 3s. That's useful, I think. The Japanese have been as aggressive as they can. They've deployed a second section in the ditch, so they're now in hard cover in that ditch there. They push forward the other one. They're not within 4 inches of that jumping off point, so the British can still use it. But then they've also gone at full speed with their 2 Hagos and got those both down the road a little bit. So this is kind of how it's looking at the moment. The Japanese are closing in on that British position, so the British are going to have to start getting stuff on the table ASAP, and they're going to do that anyway in their turn, I think. Let's just see what they can get on the table. Right, so the British first phase, let's have a look. Well, they're retaining the phase, so that's pretty good. So they've got 5 chain of command points, they've got a 3 and a 2, so that's a section and a junior leader, which is probably about what they wanted, to be honest. Right, I'm not sure if this is foolhardy or not, but the British have deployed 2 sections and gone straight into close combat with these Japanese that are in the open here. They really need to push them back. They've got 24 dice against the Japanese 18, so it's reasonably equal. But if they can wipe out a Japanese section and also kill that leader as well, I think they might be onto a good thing there. But they are probably going to take a hell of a lot of casualties themselves as well. So I'm going to roll all these together, pull out the 5s and 6s, and let's just see what happens at the end of this. Maybe madness that might even end the game immediately. But let's just see. Right, so we got so the Japanese need to pull all of these out. So that's everything. The Japanese have caused 5 hits on the British, so that's going to be 2 on each with 1 left over, or actually 1 on each team, so that's a kill on each of the British teams, and then also 1 extra, which I'll put it in a second, work it out which it is. Meanwhile, the British have killed 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. They've wiped out the Japanese and also caused tons of shock on them, so it doesn't matter. Their junior leader is going to be part of that, so they've actually wiped them out and broken them. There's not even much point having those on there anymore. I do need to see if the British have been, if the junior leader for the British has been killed, and then we're probably going to have to do a few bad things happen. But let's have a look. So each of these, I'll put the other hit on these guys over here, but let's just roll up and see what we've got for how bad things happen, and see if the British junior leaders are hit or not as well. Okay, so I rolled for the junior leaders and they weren't hit in either of those sections, so they got off pretty lightly. But the Japanese, on the other hand, I'm going to go with it completely wiped out. The last man will surrender. It's a section wiped out, that is. So let's have a look. We've got section wiped out first of all for the Japanese. A 1 is only 1 point off their force morale, and then junior leader killed. So look, that is a 5. That's probably not too good. That is 2 points off, so they're actually down to 6 immediately. But it does put the British in a particularly precarious position over there at this point. But I think it was worth it, to be perfectly honest. Well, let's see if the British can continue with their success. They do retain the phase, so let's see how far they go. Okay, we got 2 3s, junior leaders, a 1, a 2, and 4 senior leader as well. So maybe they might even just attack that second Japanese unit and just keep going, I think. Right, well, using their one, the British have deployed a boys anti-tank rifle over here. They've then reduced shock with their 2 junior leaders. They've then deployed their sergeant, who is going to get these to fire at the Japanese here. I did think about charging them, but they're in hard cover, so I think it would come off worse for the British this time round. And having already lost 5 men, they don't want to lose more. So they're just going to fire across here at the Japanese in the hard cover. Meanwhile, that boys is going to take a shot at the leading Ha-Go tank. So we'll start with that. It needs an 8 because he's slightly obscured, and it is also it is a small target as well. So we need an 8 up. Let's have a look. 5. The boys has missed, unfortunately for them. But then we're going to fire with what remains of the British units over here. So I'm going to do both of these separately. So the first one's firing with these guys. 11 dice hitting on 4s up. Let's have a look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits on the Japanese there. So this is on this section here. These are in hard cover. 6 is a kill, 5 is shock. Let's have a look. We got 1 kill and 1 shock on them. So there's the shock. Is that kill on a junior leader or not? Let's have a look. 2, no it isn't. So just one of the riflemen. Then the other group next to them, they're firing. They've got 6 for their LMG and then only 4 for their thing. I've also, sorry, got the SMGs as well firing from the British. So the first one actually 5s and 6s to hit. No. And then the second one, I'll do his 5s and 6s to hit. 2 hits from the SMGs and then 4s up for everything else. Should be fired. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits for those guys. So 5, 6, 7 in total. Same again. 6 is kill, 5 is shock. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 kills. Bloody hell. So 4 kills on there. Is one of those on the junior leader? I'm surprised if it isn't. It is. What's happened to him? That is a 4. He is lightly wounded. That's another force morale roll for the Japanese over here. God, they've got to move. So we'll take 3, 1, 2, 3 more men off. Force morale for a junior leader wounded. 6 is 2 points off. They are down to 4 already on their force morale. So this British aggression is actually standing. Well, this is not looking good for the Japanese immediately, is it? They're down to 4 dice. Let's see what we got. We got a 6, does nothing on its own. 5, 2 5s, chain of command point. They do have a senior leader on a 2 though, so they could get a sergeant out and do some attacking back. I think is probably the best thing to do at this point. Right, so the Japanese have brought on their sergeant. He's reduced shock over here, and then they are firing at the British. The only thing they've got going for them at the moment is the British are actually in the open, and they've got the hard cover. So let's just see what they do. Hitting on 4s up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. So that is going to be spread across those 4 teams. So that's going to be, let me just think, 1 hit on each of the teams and then 2 extra, which the Japanese choose. So it's going to be 2 hits on each of the LMG teams and then also 1 hit on each of the others. And also those LMG teams are down to 2 men each. So let's just see. 5 6s are kills for the British here. So the first one, 6 is a kill. I'm going to keep these to one side because I need to know if it's going to be juniors or senior leaders. Next 2 on the LMG team. So that's a kill and a shock as well. You never know, that moment of glory might be over. So that's another kill and a shock there. So then we've got another hit on the rifles over there. 5 or 6 is a kill, 3, so this time it's a shock. That other hit on the other LMG team, this time 5s and 6s are kills. So that's a kill and a shock as well. So that's not looking very nice for them. Right, so how many kills have we had so far? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3 kills. Let's see if it's on a junior or a senior leader. Yes, it has hit one of them. Which one has it hit? 1 to 3 junior, 4 to 6 senior. That's a senior leader, so that's a sergeant. What has happened to him? On a 1, he's been killed, otherwise he's been wounded. There we go, there's a 1, so the Japanese have killed the senior leader there. So we'll stand that guy back up. So that is a bad thing's happened for the British. Let's see what happens. Senior leader killed. That's a 6. That is 3 points off their force morale. 1, 2, 3. That brings them down to 5. So they're almost on the brink as well. And they are in pretty bad state as well, having been shot up by the Japanese there. Well, that was not a great turn for the British, was it? Having their sergeant shot dead. 6 does nothing, 4 is a senior leader, they've got a junior leader, a 2 and a 1, so they could fire off that boys again and then maybe do some more firing back at the Japanese. I think that's probably all they can do, otherwise, unless they start to move out of cover, I don't know. Keep up the pressure, I think, on the Japanese at this point. First of all, that boys is going to fire at the leading half go over there, so let's just have a look, see what we've got. 3, it's missed again. They must have only brought a couple of bullets with them. And then we've got our senior leader over here, junior leader. So this guy is going to move one of the guys over onto the LMG team. The other one only has 1 in this LMG team, and it can only fire as a section because, yes, he's only got a 2 there. So let's do that anyway. We've got, I could always bring out the lieutenant, but after the last one just got shot dead, I don't think I want to really. So let's see, we've got 6 shots and 3 rifles, and then also 2 from the SMGs hitting on 5s up. So 4's up for everything else, 5's for the rifles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits from the first round of firing. 6 is the kills, 5 is shock because they're in hard cover. 1 kill, 1 shock. Is it on a junior or senior leader? Let's have a look. 6, no it isn't, so it's just one of the other rifles. It's certainly picking away at them though. Then we've got these ones over here, so these are firing 4 from their LMG because they don't have the men, he hasn't put the men across, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other rifles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus those SMGs hitting on 5s. So let's just have a look at that. SMG hasn't hit anything with the rest. 1, only 2 hits this time, so let's just roll those, see what's happened. 6 is a kill, 5 is shock. No, 4 and a 1, nothing. They got away with that. Right, let's see what the Japanese can do with their 4 remaining dice. Well, they're retaining the phase, and they've got a 3 and a 1, so that is, well, that could be turned into a junior leader, or a senior leader, or a junior leader in a team. They don't really have a team, but they do retain the phase, which is very useful, I think. So what they've done is they've used their 3 to deploy with a junior leader here, just outside of close combat range, and they are firing at the British here in the open, hoping to do some damage. They're retaining that phase, so there's a good chance that they might actually be able to pile in straight after this. So let's just see what they get for their firing, hitting on 4s up. And we've got 1, 2, this is going to be spread across the teams, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. She's not brilliant, but there's not many British left in there, so there's a good chance that if they can activate both of these, or at least their senior leader, they could probably charge in. So let's have a look. 1 hit on each of the teams, and then 1 further one that the Japanese choose. They will put it on that double man LMG team there. So we'll start with them. 5, 6 is the kills. Let's have a look. We've got 4 is a shock, so that takes them up to 2 at least. Then the rifle section for those is a 4. Is another shock on them. Then we've got a single hit on each of these teams. So the rifle team, first of all, a 4 is another shock on them. So the problem when you've got a couple of sections together, they are pretty, they absorb a lot of shots. And then the last one is on the LMG team, 2, nothing, no effect. But it caused a bit of shock at least. Well, the Japanese want to do a bit better than that, but let's just see what they get for their next roll. Okay, 6 on its own is doing nothing. However, they have got a 4 and a 1 and a 2, which is pretty good because that means that they can charge both of those sections into close combat with the British, which I think they're going to be honest. So the Japanese have used their junior leader to get rid of the shock. Their senior leader has then basically told everybody to pile in, so they have done. The British have ended up with 27 dice. The Japanese have ended up with 25 dice. So 5s and 6s for everybody. Let's roll those, and I'll pull out all the 5s and 6s. See how the Japanese here need to kill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So odds are they might not do it, but you never know. There's a chance they'll probably take heavy casualties themselves as well, I think, at this point. But let's just see what happens. So the Japanese have lost 2, 4, 6, 8 men in total, so that's 4 off each section, and they've taken 1, 2, 3 shock in total. We'll have a look at those junior leader hits and things as well, but the British have taken 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 hits, so the Japanese have won by 3 anyway. So, but let's see what happens. So the British are going to at least take 2, 1, 2, 3 off each of those teams. Well, actually, no, they're going to take what? Let's have a look. 2, 4, 6 off each of their sections, and then also a load of shock as well on those. So let's just separate them. How much shock have they got? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 shock, well, 1 shock on each of the teams. Let me work this out off camera. Okay, so I think I've got it. Basically, this section has been wiped out. This section has had 5 hits and possibly 1 on the junior leader. So let's just see. 6, and it isn't him. Otherwise, it is. So yes, he's hit and he's killed as well. So this section is gone. That section is pretty much gone at this point. They are broken as well, so they're going to run away. So that's a section broken as well. Meanwhile, the Japanese have taken 4 hits over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. See if it's on their junior leader on this side. No, it isn't. So 4 men. And then they've taken 4 hits over here. Is it a junior or senior leader on this side? 3. Yes, it is. So 3 of those men are off. And which is it? 1 to 3 junior, 4 to 6 senior. It's a junior leader, and what's happened to him? I'll do him first. 6 is he is lightly wounded, but he's the second time he's been. No, it's the other guy over here. So he's been lightly wounded. Well, actually, no, it wasn't, was it? It was this guy here. I was doing this section here. So he has been killed. So their junior leader has been killed as well, but they've taken 2 shock over there, but that's not going to affect them, I think. Meanwhile, the British have lost by 3, so they're also forced back anyway, but that section is broken, a section's destroyed, and 2 junior leaders have been killed for the British. Meanwhile, 1 junior leader for the Japanese has been killed. So let's get those bad things happen rolled first of all. So the British, well, let's do the junior leader for the Japanese. He's been killed. A 1 is, I think that's just 1 off. Junior leader wounded, junior leader killed, sorry, yeah, 1 point off, so they're down to 3. British, however, this is where it probably gets bad for them. Section wiped out. 4 is 2 points off. That drops them straight down to 3. Then they've got 2 junior leaders killed. Section breaks first of all. 6, oh, that's another 2 points off. That's got them down to 1. They can't lose any less than 1 now because they've got 2 junior leaders killed. But let's just see what it is anyway. 2 junior leaders killed, a 3 and a 1. Junior leader killed, 3 and a 1. Both of those is 1 point off each. So that's 2 points off. Brings the British down to 0 force morale. The Japanese have just nipped that game in the bud by counter-attacking. That was the right thing to do. Right then, there we have it. That was a swift and brutal conclusion to that campaign. Those poor British just absolutely hammered there. I thought they may have done it actually earlier on when they dropped the Japanese force morale from that first attack. I think it was the right thing to do at the time. It was a difficult one because otherwise you can just stand there firing all day, but the Japanese have got themselves into that position. The Hagos still trundling down this road, not really doing much. Let me just show you force morale wise. We got the British down on 0 there, having those junior leaders and everybody wiped out, and the Japanese there on a 3. So it could have gone either way after the end of that particular attack, but I think, yeah, again, the British did the right thing. The Japanese definitely did the right thing there. You've got to be kind of aggressive, especially if playing either as the Japanese or against the Japanese, because their sections are so big they can just absorb so many hits. So just firing at them just really doesn't do a great deal. Well, look, I hope you've enjoyed that. That was a swift, brutal, it was a great game from my point of view. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know. If you want to see more Singapore games in the future, then do let me know. Please, if you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the Patreon and channel memberships as well. It all helps out, and it always goes back into funding more games and more battle reports for you on Storm of Steel. And I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video. See ya!